Let's do a little yoga and get ready for our day. Hi, welcome to Wealthy Boss. My name's Mariah, and every week I bring you free barre, yoga, and Pilates workouts. So if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Today's workout is brought to you by my audio downloads for fitness intentions. These are body positive audio affirmations that help you manifest that belief in yourself that you are worthy of absolute health. Download them at wealthyboss.com/audio. Now let's do some yoga.
We're going to start in an easy downward facing dog, planting the hands, spreading the fingers wide, lifting hips up as we find length in the spine. So as you press that ground away, feeling the shoulders just start to lengthen away from the ears. We'll start to take a couple of pedals with your feet back and forth as you start to ease into your morning. And then bending both knees deeply, we're going to press the weight into our bear pose. So really bending deep into the knees and then straighten back out towards down dog. Again, we'll breathe deep into the knees and then straighten those legs. So every time that we straighten the legs, we might find that the body's ready to go just a little bit straighter into that down dog. Maybe heels come a little bit closer to the earth, but we never force it. Coming into that Ujjayi breath, deep inhales and exhales through the nose. And then coming to take both legs straight, taking right leg up to the ceiling. We're going to start with the hips squared off towards the ground, so we find length in the left side of the calf. And then we'll pick the knee up above the hip, so right knee bends as we open that hip, taking some big circles with the knee, so just inviting some yummy movement into our morning after being stuck maybe in one position all night. And then let's reverse that direction. And we'll set that foot down, take it over to the other side. So remember, hips are squared off first so that we can feel a nice stretch in the back of the right calf. And then we can bend into that left knee, pick the hip up, setting the belly button more at a diagonal angle. And let's find some big circles, just encouraging the lubrication of that ball and socket joint. And let's take it the other way. And we'll go ahead and set that leg down. From here, we're going to shift the weight forward until we come into our plank position. So shoulders right over wrists. You may need to kind of readjust if your wrist did not happen to land right underneath the shoulders. Taking deep inhales, exhales, lifting the belly away from the floor, but keeping those hips down within the same line as the shoulders. So one straight line from the crown of the head to the heels, and then pushing it back up to plank. So inviting a little bit of heat in the body. Spiking our cortisol in the morning through exercise is actually a good thing. It's going to help reset our circadian rhythms so that we sleep better tonight. And we'll take it back and forth between that plank and your downward facing dog. Plank, downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Powerful inhales, exhales through the nose. And then the next time that you're in your downward facing dog, start to shift the weight from the hands in as you walk hands in, coming into a deep ragdoll. So if you still need to have your knees bent here, feel free to do that. Grabbing hold of opposite elbows, let that head dangle heavy, feeling gravity help lengthen your vertebrae. Should feel good to the neck. And then rolling up one vertebra at a time before we come into kind of a rapid bow forward. So this one, we're kind of using a little bit of momentum here to bow forward as you shake the hands behind you. And then we do use some momentum to swing ourselves up into a back bend. So go ahead and bow towards the earth. And then sweep it all the way up. Good. So it's an exhale as you bow forward and kind of a sigh out through the mouth. And then an inhale, reach it tall. Every time that you come back into that back bend, I want you to think first about lifting up and then back so that we are lengthening through the lumbar spine rather than compressing it. Good, so this is so energizing. It's so good to move through the flexion and extension of the spine. Really exaggerate that sigh as you bow forward. Let's do it 2 more times. Don't be afraid to get into it a little bit here. Good, and then we're gonna come upright. Sinking now into our chair pose. So firing up the muscles in the legs. This is a somewhat fiery little practice this morning, but it's gonna make us feel so, so good. We're sinking those hips down into our chair pose, making sure we can see the toes. And then from here, hands come to prayer. Adding a little twist here, a little rotation, you're gonna hook the right elbow over the outside of the left thigh. Now notice if your hips just wiggled over to one direction, see if you can try to bring them back towards the center. You're actively pressing your hands into each other and then pressing away from the thigh. Spine grows long. Finding some deep breaths here, even if it feels a little bit constricted. Coming back towards center, we'll come all the way up before we go to the other side. I promised you this was a feel-good practice, so I don't want to go back on my word. But let's take that chair pose and add that rotation on the other side. Good, so taking crown of the head away from the belly button. So really lengthening that spine. Hips come back towards center if they drifted over to one side. So good. Let's come back towards center, and then let's take that again into a forward fold ragdoll. So knees can bend if you need. Maybe by now the knees don't need to bend. We're going to let the head grow heavy, grab hold of opposite elbows, this time swaying side to side, releasing any type of pressure in the neck, just letting it kind of dangle underneath you, feeling the effects of gravity, tractioning that neck. And then from here, taking hands to the earth, we're going to take the feet nice and wide, taking a little forward fold with the rotation. So right hand comes underneath the face, left hand reaches up. Again, send those hips as close towards center as they will go. And we'll reach over to the other side. Coming back towards the midline. This time the toes turn out a little bit wider than the heels. We're going to roll up, grabbing hold of our thighs, and then you're going to straighten into one arm as you stretch into that shoulder. So kind of dipping that shoulder, stretching it. You're actively pressing the thigh away from you. So this is so good for stretching the shoulder, the back, the inner hip, inner thigh. And then let's reach over to the other side. This one feels so good. So just press that thigh away from you, drop that shoulder down, enjoy this stretch. We'll do that 2 more times in each direction. Welcoming in the day, welcoming movement, circulation into the body, coming into a state of flow. And we'll come all the way up. We're going to take the feet hip-width distance apart, so coming into that Tadasana pose. And then we'll inhale, arms up overhead, grabbing hold of all fingers. So we're interlacing all fingers except the index fingers. Could you send your shoulders down away from the ears? Plant the left foot down into the ground, and then reach over towards the right. Continue to breathe as you stretch out the left side of the body. And coming back up towards center, we'll reach over to the other side. Back up towards center. And then we're just going to take a few rounds of breath where we have longer inhales than exhales. So we're going to inhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, One last round. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Thank you so much for starting your morning with me. I invite you to let me tag along just a little bit longer for your morning routine. Go ahead and download those audio affirmations for your fitness intentions and give them a listen while you're continuing to get ready for your day, while you're brushing your teeth, doing your makeup, and just start to let those words and those beliefs seep into you so you start to manifest that state of self-love that's required for truly taking the best care of our bodies. Until then, namaste.